What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to another installment of everything you need to know about. And today we're going to be talking about one of the potential candidates for the Liverpool managerial vacancy, Ruben Amorim, currently of Sporting Lisbon. I'm going to give you the lowdown on everything that I think you need to know about Mr. Amorim. Of course, asking you guys to let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it, which I very much hope that you do. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm not going to hang around, folks. I'm going to get straight into it because there's a lot of information to go through. Firstly, I'm going to give you an insight into his formative years, his early playing career, and then we'll move on to the managerial side of things. So first up, what is his first and full name? It is Ruben Felipe Marquez Amorim. I'm glad that I don't have to spell that, but it's easy for me to say because I wrote it out phonetically. I've probably still butchered the pronunciation. Any native Portuguese speakers out there, feel free to correct me. He was born on the 27th of January 1985, making him just 39 years of age. Now, as somebody sitting here at 42 who has accomplished nowhere near the level that Ruben Amorim has, this makes me feel not just very old, but of course very inferior. And he was also born in Lisbon in Portugal. Now onto his playing career. We all know about Ruben Amorim as a manager, but what was his playing career like? Well, he did play at a pretty high level. So, starting his playing career, he played as a midfielder. He's also known to be utilised at right back, but mainly in his career, he was used as a midfielder. Between 1998 and 2003, he played youth level football for 3 different clubs. Club Atlético Cultural, Benfica and Belenenses, 3 clubs in Portugal of various distinction. One of them lower level, and then ended up of course at Benfica, where he went on to play senior football later, but beforehand he did have another taste of senior football before that big move. He first got a taste of senior football in 2003 at Belenenses, where he also represented at youth level, as pointed out a moment ago. He made 96 appearances for that club, scoring just 4 goals. So he wasn't a goal scoring midfielder like a Frank Lampard, or Steven Gerrard or Kevin De Bruyne, but then again there aren't many of those around. Next up came a return to Benfica in 2008, and while there he made 95 appearances for the club, scoring 5 times. His time at Benfica would prove to be a trophy laden one, winning 3 league titles and 6 domestic cups. Benfica also made it to the Europa League final in the 2013-2014 season while losing to Sevilla on penalties. And look, don't feel bad about that. If you're watching this Ruben Amorim, we've all lost to Sevilla at some point in the Europa League. Hell, they practically own the competition at this rate. But before finishing his playing career, he also had a couple of loan spells at Braga and Al Wakra. He represented Portugal at every level as well, from under 18s and youth level all the way through to senior team, where he made 14 appearances, or I should say got 14 caps for the Portuguese national team. So that's his playing career. But next up, I'm going to give you guys the lowdown on how he got to being viewed as a potential candidate to become the Liverpool manager. So first up, I'm going to give you guys an overview of his coaching career before we go into his style of management and his preferred formations. So Ruben Amorim's first taste of management came at 3rd tier Casa Pia in 2017. But he quit after a disagreement with the Portuguese FA. And while I won't go into it, do have a read up on it yourself, because it's a fairly comical situation that involves him not having the license to give instructions on the pitch and getting a little bit of a ban. Again, I'll let you guys read up on that, because I don't want to give you the full detail of it, because I want you to enjoy that process yourselves. So his next job was as Braga's B team manager, and within just 3 months he impressed so much that when they fired their first team coach, he was promoted to that position and went on to win a domestic cup in 2020. His stock continued to rise, and that led to Sporting paying a €10 million transfer fee for his services. At the time, this was the 3rd highest ever paid for a manager in European football. That proved to be money well spent though, because he ended a 19-year wait for Sporting to win a league title. Now, we've had our own wait, 30 years, but 19 years for a club as big as Sporting, that's quite a long time to not have a league title success. So you can see why his stock has continued to rise after delivering that league title. They ended that season with a double trophy success, adding a Taça da Liga in for good measure. So he didn't just end it, he got them a league title and brought them in a cup as well. He was recognised for his success with Sporting and was named the Primera Liga Manager of the Year in 2021. So next up, and finally, I'm going to bring you guys and take you through his managerial style and his preference for formations. Sounds good? Stick with me. So I've explained pretty much everything about Ruben Amorim other than his formation and his style of management, and that's what we're going to go through now. So one thing that kept coming up during my research was that Ruben Amorim is an excellent communicator and is very good at getting instructions across to his players, and most importantly getting the buy-in from those players to the way that he wants to play. One aspect and style that I found interesting is that he refuses to be drawn on opinions of referees, and in fact makes a point of saying that he won't talk about referees in post-match interviews. Now that's all very well and good for Mr. Amorim over in Portugal, but once he comes to the Premier League, be that as Liverpool manager or somebody else's, he's going to have to make do with the PGMOL and their band of merry officials, and well, let's see if he can continue to bite his tongue and not talk about referees after he's had a little taste of the VAR incident in the Premier League. I don't know, he'd want to be one strong-willed man, but that is his preference at the moment, not to speak about referees, which is a good thing because I guess it'll save him a load of money on fines. His preferred system at Sporting Lisbon is some variation of a 3-4-3 with 2 central midfielders and 2 wing backs. Ironically, for us Liverpool fans, one of the bonus points or one of the pluses of this system for him is that in that formation, Sporting Lisbon are very adept at playing with a low block. And as we know, for Liverpool, well, that's a bit of an Achilles heel. So perhaps if we bring in a manager who knows how to utilise a low block, I'm sure he'll probably know how to break down a low block as well. Maybe that's just wishful thinking from me, but I am fed up of us being frustrated with low blocks. So, like a lot of managers in the modern day, Amorim's teams also are very adept at pressing and look to do so high up the pitch and force turnovers in the opponent's half of the pitch. I've said this in a couple of videos, but it's something that a lot of modern managers look to do, and it isn't rocket science for the reason that they're looking to do it. It's because the further up the pitch you win the ball, the less distance there is between yourself and the opposition's goal, and the more likely you are to create a goal-scoring opportunity. Another aspect of his approach is that he urges his attacking players to rotate their positions between the wings and the half spaces. Much of the pressing in the final third is carried out by the lone striker in his 3-4-3 system. So, as you can imagine, think of a Pep Guardiola system here, or maybe a Xabi Alonso system. Those players interchanging and moving, given a difficult task for the defenders to figure out which one to be picking up, whose space they're in, should I go, should I stay? These are all things that give defenders questions, and when defenders have questions, they're more likely to lead to mistakes. So that's why in this system those rotational players are quite important. Now, will that transfer to the Premier League and Liverpool? That remains to be seen. I'm always nervous when managers come into the Premier League for what are known as slightly weaker leagues. Portugal is probably at the higher end of that, but like when Manchester United brought in Eric Ten Hag to Old Trafford, I thought that was a step too far. I do have my concerns about Ruben Amorim. I think he deserves to be on Liverpool's list, but I do think he's probably second behind Xabi Alonso for me, and a little bit clear the third, fourth and fifth choices. So I'm firmly on board with the idea of Ruben Amorim if indeed we can't convince Xabi Alonso to take over at Liverpool. But I want to know what you guys think. So let us know your thoughts. Maybe you've watched a little bit more of Sporting than I have. Maybe you've got some more feedback that you'd be able to give me on his style of play. 39 years of age, well, I guess there is a next generation of managers coming in. I was going to think to myself, is that a little bit too young? Maybe not. He does have that gravitas that I like to speak about and carries himself fairly well, and also has great relationships with his players who look like they'll run through a brick wall for him. So these are all positive signs, and I'm firmly on board with the possibility of it, but I can't lie, Xabi Alonso's the one that I want. Maybe some of you guys think differently. Let us know in the comment section, drop a like on the video, and thank you again so much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed it. Look forward to your feedback, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye bye.